We've got 24 hectares of land, which at the moment is a combination of local coastal salt marsh species and tidal mudflats, compared to about 18 months ago where we had 17 hectares of mangroves.
Construction finished in late 2016. So now we're in a maintenance phase, but prior to that was obviously a lot of work put into developing the design, the concept, so it's probably 5 years worth of work.
Pre-European times, this would have been considered to be a natural tidal environment, and that's what we're aiming to bring back.
There's a couple of really exciting things about what NCIG is doing here. One is that they've gone big, and that means there's a lot more options for them to do things, and we see a lot more impact on the site right here. That's probably the most exciting bit. The other bit is going long term. Most other places or businesses pick somewhere small and get in and get out. And for us, it's a big issue that you don't learn much about that. Being able to go long term means we can learn a lot about it, and we can invest as a university a lot more into the site. So I was brought on fairly early in the piece by NCIG to look at what we could do here and how might we do it. So then we designed a whole system, which is, as far as we know, not really been designed before, to how we would move water around these paddocks and turn them into salt marsh.
The tidal gates are a pretty special and major part of the project. You could imagine if we pulled down 17 hectares of mangroves and hadn't put in some kind of structure to manipulate the tide, pretty soon we'd just be seeing those same mangroves coming back in and re-establishing at the same densities.
We're trying to make sure it's an area suitable for salt marsh, more suitable to salt marsh, and we do that by knocking the top off the tide.
So we want to make sure that water is moving where we think it should be moving or where we've designed it to move. So we've got people looking at surface water, groundwater, the plants themselves and what's growing and where it's growing and how fast it's growing. And we're doing that both at really small scales. We've got PhD students and postdocs running around and looking in with sort of microscope sort of versions. And then we've got the big picture. So the drones are here because we measure the whole site in a more comprehensive way over a long period of time.
For us environmentalists, we get pretty excited about this sort of thing. This is just, like I say, it's a culmination of a lot of years' work. To actually see it being delivered and recognised as a really good outcome, both for the birds but also the Lower Hunter estuaries, it gives a lot of pride.
It's really interesting for me to be part of this project, which is a novel project. And all the collaboration that we're doing with NCIG and also the University of Newcastle and UNSW.
And with those guys from the University of New South Wales, they're industry best practice guys. They know what's going on. They've given us some great advice.
So far we've learned that it's working. So when we look out at the paddocks here, we can see all these patches of green and they're all salt marsh coming back to the site. That's been a huge value and we didn't expect it to happen that fast. We know that restoration doesn't occur in 1 year or 3 years. It's a 10 or 20 or 30 year project. We call them legacy projects, and we encourage NCIG and applaud them for getting involved in something for a long period of time.
This is actually a unique project in Australia. I don't think there's any other wetland in Australia that has this sort of setup with a smart gate at the front of the wetland. This can be a reference study for future projects.
These birds fly from the Northern Hemisphere down to this area, from Siberia, Alaska, those sort of areas. Habitat's under threat the whole way down that Pacific flyway. Nice to be a part of having a refuge here where those species continue to exist.